Hi friend, welcome back. Before you watch anything else today, stop and listen to this, because what I am about to tell you might change the next 20 years of your life. Your brain is aging right now, while you sit here, not because of your birthday, not because of bad luck. It is aging because of small habits you repeat every single day without thinking. Most people never notice this happening. It doesn't arrive suddenly, like an illness with a clear beginning. It arrives quietly, in tiny pieces, one lazy afternoon at a time, one scroll at a time, one skipped challenge at a time. And then, one day, they wake up at 40 or 50 or 60, and they say, "Where did my sharp mind go? Why do I forget names now? Why does everything feel slow and heavy when it used to feel light and quick?" And the honest answer is simple, even if it isn't comfortable to hear. Nobody told them the truth in time, so they never had the chance to change course. So today, I am telling you, while there is still plenty of time to act. This is not a soft video with cute little tips you already know. This is a real plan. 16 habits, tested, simple, and powerful, that keep your brain young, quick, and alive. Each one is small on its own, but together, they can completely change how your mind feels within a few weeks. And here is something special for you. While you listen to this video, you are also training your English ears. Every sentence you understand here is one more piece of fluency inside you. You are learning new words in context, hearing natural rhythm, and training your listening muscle at the same time your brain gets stronger. So today you get two gifts in one video: a younger brain and a stronger English. I want you to imagine your brain as a garden that nobody has watered in years. The grass still grows, but slowly, weakly, without much life in it. These 16 habits are the water and sunlight that garden has been missing. None of them are expensive. None of them require special equipment. They only require a little courage and a little discomfort, because real growth never happens inside your comfort zone. Stay with me. Let's start building the mind you deserve, one habit at a time. Habit 1. Write with your weaker hand. Here is a strange but powerful trick. Once a day, pick up a pen and write a few words with the hand you don't normally use. If you are right-handed, try your left hand. If you are left-handed, try your right hand. At first, it feels clumsy. Your letters look messy. You feel silly. But that clumsy feeling is your brain waking up a part of itself that has been sleeping for years. Your brain is like a garden. When you always walk the same path, the grass around it never grows. But when you take a new path, new grass begins to grow there too. This small daily habit builds fresh connections in your mind. People who practice it often notice they think faster and remember better within a few weeks. It sounds too simple to matter, and that's exactly why most people ignore it. But your brain does not care how small the challenge looks from the outside. It only cares whether it had to work harder than usual. You can expand this habit slowly. Try brushing your teeth with your weaker hand. Try opening a door, stirring your tea, or texting a short message using it. Each attempt will feel a little clumsy, and that clumsiness is the whole point. It means new pathways are forming inside your mind. Pathways that stay dormant when everything you do feels automatic and easy. So tonight, before you sleep, pick up a pen. Write your name with your other hand. It will feel wrong. Do it anyway. Growth always feels wrong at first. Habit 2. Choose one difficult task every day. Most of us build our whole day around comfort. Easy food, easy chair, easy conversations, easy scrolling. But comfort is quietly putting your brain to sleep. I want to tell you about a woman named Priya. She was 39, tired all the time, and she often forgot simple things like where she put her keys. Her doctor asked her one question: "When was the last time you did something hard on purpose?" She could not answer. She had not challenged herself in years. She started with tiny steps: a short walk without her phone, 10 minutes of reading a book that was hard for her level, one cold glass of water first thing in the morning instead of coffee. Within a month, she said her thinking felt clearer, like fog lifting off a window. Hard does not have to mean extreme. It can be speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay quiet. It can be starting a conversation in English, even though you're afraid of making a mistake. It can be waking up 30 minutes earlier than usual, or finishing a task you have been avoiding for weeks. What matters is that your mind meets a little resistance, a little friction, instead of gliding through the day on autopilot. Every time you choose difficulty over comfort, you send your brain a clear signal: we are still growing, we are still alive, we still have work to do. Skip that signal for too many days in a row, and your mind quietly settles into a slower, duller version of itself. Your task today is simple. Choose one thing that feels a little hard, a little scary, or a little boring, and do it anyway. Not next week, today. Habit 3. Take real breaks from your screen. I need to be honest with you here. Your phone is not just wasting your time. It is reshaping how your brain works, and not in a good way. Every scroll, every quick video, every notification trains your brain to expect something new every few seconds. Over time, your mind forgets how to sit still and focus on one thing. That is why long books feel harder now, why long conversations feel tiring, why silence feels uncomfortable. Try this test. Sit alone, no phone, no music, for 5 full minutes. If that feels difficult, you already have your answer. Your brain needs training. Think about someone you know who checks their phone constantly, sometimes every few minutes, without even realizing they're doing it. Notice how they struggle to stay focused during a long conversation, how they lose their train of thought mid-sentence, how they seem restless even when nothing is actually wrong. That restlessness is not their personality. It is a trained pattern, built one scroll at a time, and it can be untrained the same way. Start with 30 minutes a day, completely screen-free. Walk, think, stare out the window, do nothing. Your mind will resist at first, like a child asked to sit still. It will search for something to distract itself with, some habit to reach for. Push through it. On the other side of that discomfort is a calmer, sharper mind. One that can sit with a single thought long enough to actually finish it. Habit 4. Sleep in true darkness and true silence. Sleep is not simply rest. It is the time your brain repairs itself, sorts your memories, and clears away waste. But this only works properly when your sleep is deep, and deep sleep needs darkness and quiet. If your phone glows beside your pillow, if a street light leaks through your curtains, if the television plays in the background, your brain never reaches its deepest, most healing stage of sleep. You may sleep 8 hours and still wake up tired, because the quality was poor. Think about 2 coworkers with the same job and same stress. One sleeps in a pitch-black silent room. The other falls asleep with the television on. After a month, the first person feels calm, alert, and clear-headed. The second one feels foggy, irritable, and forgetful. Same number of hours, completely different results. Even small sources of light matter more than people realize. a charging light on a device, a gap under the door, a phone screen lighting up with a notification. All of these can interrupt the deepest stages of sleep without ever fully waking you. You won't remember it happening, but your brain will feel the difference the next day. Make your bedroom into a cave tonight. Block the light with thick curtains or a simple eye mask. Remove the noise with earplugs if your environment is loud. Put your phone outside the room if you can, and use a separate alarm clock instead. It might feel inconvenient the first few nights, but this single change can transform how your brain feels every single morning, giving you back hours of quality rest you didn't even know you were missing. Habit 5. Walk outside with no phone in your hand. When did you last walk outside, alone, with nothing in your hand, just listening to the world around you? For many people, the honest answer is, I cannot remember. Something happens when you walk in fresh air without a screen pulling your attention. Your nervous system slows down. Your thinking becomes clearer. Ideas that were stuck in your head suddenly become simple. A man named Tomas used to feel anxious every afternoon at work. A friend told him to take a 15-minute walk outside, phone left on his desk, every single day. He hated it the first few days. It felt boring. Then, slowly, he began noticing the trees, the sky, the sound of his own footsteps. His afternoon anxiety faded, not because of medicine, but because his brain finally got a moment of quiet. There is something almost medicinal about simply noticing your surroundings, the color of the sky, the sound of birds, the feeling of wind against your skin. These small sensory details pull your attention away from the constant noise of daily worry and give your nervous system a genuine chance to reset. Try this tomorrow. Leave your phone behind. Walk for just 10 minutes. Let your mind wander freely, without trying to solve anything or plan anything. This is not wasted time. This is brain repair, and it costs you absolutely nothing, except the willingness to be a little bored for a few minutes. Habit 6. Read something that disagrees with you. Most of us only read things that make us feel comfortable, things that agree with what we already believe. But a brain that never meets a new idea slowly stops growing. Try reading something that challenges your thinking on purpose. A book from a different culture, an article with an opinion you disagree with, a true story about a life completely different from yours. There was a young man named Aiden who believed strongly that only hard work led to success. Nothing else mattered. Then he read the story of a small village where community and shared resources built success together, not individual effort alone. It shook something in him. He did not fully change his mind, but new questions opened in his brain that had been closed for years. This kind of reading is uncomfortable by design. Your mind naturally wants to protect its existing beliefs, and it will resist new ideas the same way a muscle resists an unfamiliar exercise. That resistance is not a sign you should stop. It is a sign that something valuable is happening. This week, pick up something that makes you uncomfortable to read. It could be a difficult article, a book from a genre you normally avoid, or an opinion piece written from a perspective completely different from your own. When your mind wants to close the book, stay open a little longer. That discomfort is your brain stretching its muscles, and every stretch, even an awkward one, makes it a little more flexible than before. Habit 7. Try to remember before you search. Here is something we all do without thinking. We forget a fact, and instantly, before we even try, we reach for our phone to search it. A word, a name, a date. gone before we even attempted to recall it ourselves. Every time you do this, you send a quiet message to your brain. Don't bother remembering. I have a machine for that. Over time, your memory muscle weakens from lack of use. A student named Farah struggled badly with remembering vocabulary for her English exams. Her tutor gave her one rule. Before checking any word, close your eyes and try for 60 seconds first. It felt frustrating at the beginning, but within weeks her memory sharpened noticeably. She was not smarter than before. She had simply started exercising the muscles she had ignored for years. Think about how often this happens in an average day. You forget a word while speaking English, so you switch to a translator instantly. You forget where you put something, so you ask someone else immediately instead of retracing your steps. Each of these small shortcuts feels harmless, but added together over months and years, they teach your memory that it never needs to work hard. From today, give yourself 60 seconds before searching anything. Close your eyes if it helps. Push your brain to work first, even if it feels frustrating, even if you fail most of the time at the beginning. That struggle is exactly how memory grows stronger. The same way lifting a heavier weight, even clumsily, builds more strength than lifting nothing at all. Stay with me here, because this next part is where things really start to shift for people. Habit 8. Practice something you are genuinely bad at. We naturally avoid things we are not good at, because failing feels uncomfortable. But your brain grows fastest exactly in those uncomfortable moments, not while doing things you have already mastered. Choose something completely new. Painting, if you cannot draw a straight line. A new language, even if your tongue trips over every word. Dancing, even if you feel awkward. Cooking a dish you have never attempted. A retired teacher named Bernard decided to learn the guitar at 62, something he had never played in his life. His fingers hurt. His chords sounded terrible. His grandchildren laughed kindly at his mistakes. But 3 months later, he said something powerful. I feel 20 years younger in my head, even though my hands still hurt. Struggling with something new had quietly rebuilt parts of his mind that comfort had shut down. Most adults quietly stop trying new things somewhere in their 20s or 30s, not because they lack time, but because failing in front of others feels embarrassing. Children don't have this problem. They fall while learning to walk, mispronounce words while learning to talk, and nobody thinks less of them for it. Somewhere along the way, adults forget that struggling badly at something new is not a weakness. It is one of the fastest ways to keep a mind sharp and flexible. Pick one thing this week that you are genuinely bad at and practice it anyway, even if only for 15 minutes. Your ego will protest, telling you it's pointless or embarrassing. Ignore it. Your brain will thank you later, in the form of sharper thinking and a mind that stays curious instead of settling into old, comfortable patterns. Habit 9. Have one real conversation instead of 10 small ones. Most conversations today skim across the surface. How are you? Fine, thanks. Nice weather. Then we move on. And 2 days later, we forget we even spoke. Real conversation is different. It asks something honest, and it listens for something honest in return. It leaves a mark on your memory because it touched something real. Instead of the usual small talk, try asking someone, what is something you have changed your mind about recently? Or, what is a memory that still makes you smile? Watch what happens. People pause, they think, they open up, and your brain, engaged in something meaningful, holds on to that moment far longer than 100 empty greetings. Notice how differently your mind treats these two kinds of exchanges. 100 quick greetings can pass through your day and leave almost no trace in your memory a week later. But a single, honest, meaningful exchange, one where someone shared something true and you truly listened, can stay with you for years. That is not a coincidence. Your brain is built to hold on to meaning and quietly discard noise. This week, choose one person and have one real conversation. It doesn't need to be long or dramatic, just honest. Ask a question you actually care about the answer to, and really listen when they respond. Not entertainment, not noise, but genuine connection. Your brain remembers meaning, and it slowly forgets everything else. Habit 10. Break your routine on purpose. Your daily pattern: wake up, same breakfast, same route, same shows, same bedtime, feels safe and comfortable. But to your brain, that sameness is a slow, quiet shutdown. A brain that experiences nothing new stops paying attention to the world. That is why weeks can blur together, why time seems to move faster as we get older, why life can start to feel flat. Try small changes on purpose. Eat your breakfast sitting somewhere different. Walk a different street home. Listen to music in a language you don't understand. Rearrange one shelf in your room. Wear a color you never wear. This is why vacations often feel like they last longer in memory than ordinary weeks at home, even though they are much shorter in actual days. New places, new smells, new routines force your brain to pay close attention to everything. And attention is what creates strong, lasting memories. An unchanging routine, by contrast, gives your brain almost nothing to hold on to, which is why entire months can blur together and feel like they vanished. None of these small changes seem important alone, but together, they tell your brain, pay attention, something new is happening here. And a brain that pays attention is a brain that stays young, curious, and genuinely present in its own life. Habit 11. Explain what you just learned to someone else. There is a simple test for whether you truly understand something. Can you explain it clearly to another person? Most of what we learn slips away within days because we never actually use it. We only absorb it passively. The moment you explain an idea out loud, your brain must organize it, simplify it, and rebuild it in your own words. That process locks the idea into your memory far deeper than simply reading or watching ever could. This is often called the difference between passive learning and active learning. Watching a video is passive. Your brain simply receives information without doing much work. But explaining that same information to someone else forces your brain into active mode, searching for the right words, deciding what matters most, connecting new ideas to things you already understand. Next time you learn something interesting, whether from a video, a book, or a conversation, find someone within the same day and explain it to them. A friend, a family member, even a voice note to yourself works perfectly well if nobody else is around. This single habit, repeated often, keeps knowledge alive inside you, instead of letting it quietly fade within a few days, which is what happens to most things we learn but never use. Habit 12. Choose thinking games over mindless ones. Not all games are equal for your brain. Fast, colorful, mindless games give quick rewards but train your mind towards shallow, instant reactions instead of deep thought. Games that require real thinking, chess, crossword puzzles, logic riddles, strategy board games, work differently. They frustrate you, they slow you down, they force patience and planning. That discomfort is exactly the workout your brain needs. Think of it like the difference between eating a quick sugary snack and eating a proper meal. The snack feels good instantly, but leaves you hungry again soon after, offering nothing of lasting value. A proper meal takes more effort to prepare and chew, but it genuinely nourishes your body. Thinking games work the same way for your mind. They take more patience to enjoy, but the benefit lasts far longer than the quick dopamine hit of a mindless tapping game. Next time you feel bored and reach for your phone, choose a puzzle instead of a mindless tapping game. It will feel harder and less immediately satisfying. But that difficulty is doing real work behind the scenes, work that quick, easy games can never provide, no matter how many hours you spend on them. Habit 13. Give your body regular breaks from food. This habit surprises many people, but there is real science behind it. When your stomach is constantly full, a large share of your body's energy goes toward digestion instead of thinking. Try leaving a longer gap between your dinner and breakfast, perhaps 12 to 14 hours, drinking only water during that window. Many people notice something unexpected during this time: sharper focus, clearer thoughts, a calm kind of alertness. This happens partly because periods without food can trigger the release of a natural brain growth chemical inside your body. You have probably felt a small version of this already, that heavy, sleepy feeling after a large meal, when concentrating on anything suddenly feels much harder than it did an hour earlier. Now imagine the opposite state, a body that isn't constantly busy digesting, freeing up energy for your mind instead. That is the state many people describe reaching during a longer gap between meals. You do not need to do this every day, and you should always listen to your own body and consult a doctor if you have any health concerns. But even a few times a week can make a noticeable difference for many people. Give your body's digestive system a rest sometimes, and your brain often becomes the biggest winner. Habit 14. Write ideas alone before you speak them. Group brainstorming, everyone shouting ideas at once, often produces shallow, obvious answers because people say whatever comes quickly, not what comes from deep thought. Try this instead. Sit alone with a blank page and a timer set for 7 minutes. Write down every idea for a problem you are facing, without stopping, without judging yourself, without talking to anyone. The first few ideas will feel obvious and easy. Then your mind will go quiet, almost blank. Keep writing anyway. That uncomfortable blank space is exactly where your deepest, most original thinking begins to appear. In a group setting, the loudest or most confident voice often shapes the conversation, and quieter, deeper ideas never get the chance to surface. Working alone in silence removes that pressure entirely. There is no one to impress, no one to interrupt you, just you and the blank page, forced to dig past the easy, obvious answers into something more original. Try this the next time you face a real decision, big or small. Set a timer, write without stopping, and push through the uncomfortable blank moment when your mind runs out of easy ideas. You may be surprised by what your own silent mind produces when nobody else is speaking. Habit 15. End your shower with 30 seconds of cold water. This one is uncomfortable, and that discomfort is the entire point. At the end of your normal warm shower, switch the water to cold for just 30 seconds. Your body will protest immediately. Your breathing will quicken. Your mind will scream at you to stop. And in that exact moment, your whole system snaps into full alertness, sharper than any cup of coffee could provide. This tiny daily shock trains your body and mind to handle discomfort calmly instead of panicking. And here is the deeper benefit, one that goes far beyond the shower itself. If you can stay calm and controlled during 30 seconds of genuine discomfort each morning, small everyday stresses later in the day, a difficult email, a stressful conversation, an unexpected problem, start to feel much more manageable by comparison. Over time, people who practice this report feeling more awake, more focused, and strangely calmer under everyday stress. If cold water feels too intense at first, start with just 10 seconds and build up gradually. Always listen to your own body and check with a doctor first if you have any heart or health concerns. Try it tomorrow morning. 30 seconds. Uncomfortable, but powerful. Habit 16. Memorize one short piece of writing each week. This final habit is quiet, but deeply powerful. Choose one short poem, one meaningful quote, or a few lines from a song, and commit it fully to memory. Say it aloud. Write it by hand. Test yourself until you can recite it without looking. Memorizing is a form of deep exercise for your brain, unlike anything you get from passively scrolling or watching. Over a year, doing this every week gives you 50 pieces of writing living inside your own mind, not stored on a device, but truly yours. Think about a song from your childhood that you can still recite perfectly, word for word, even decades later, without ever trying to memorize it on purpose. That is proof of just how powerful your memory truly is when something is repeated with genuine attention and feeling. Now imagine directing that same natural power on purpose toward something meaningful you actually choose, rather than leaving it entirely to chance. People who practice regular memorization often report sharper focus, stronger recall, and a calmer, more settled sense of control over their thinking. It becomes a quiet form of mental exercise you can do anywhere, while walking, while cooking, while waiting in line. Choose your first piece this week, something short and meaningful to you, and begin, bringing it all together. These 16 habits are not complicated, and none of them require money or special equipment. What they require is willingness. The willingness to feel a little uncomfortable, a little awkward, a little challenged, on a regular basis. Your brain was never designed for constant ease. It was designed to grow through gentle, repeated struggle. The same way muscles grow stronger, only when they are asked to lift something slightly heavier than what they are used to. Look back at these 16 habits for a moment. Writing with your weaker hand, choosing one hard task, stepping away from your screen, sleeping in true darkness, walking without your phone, reading something that challenges you, trying to remember before searching, practicing something you're bad at, having one honest conversation, breaking your daily routine, teaching what you learn, choosing thinking games, giving your body a break from food, writing ideas alone, ending your shower with cold water, and memorizing something meaningful each week. None of these are dramatic, none of them will make headlines. But each one, quietly repeated, rebuilds a small part of your mind that comfort had slowly been letting fall asleep. You do not need to adopt all 16 habits at once. In fact, trying to change everything overnight almost always fails because it feels overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, choose just one or two that spoke to you most strongly while you were listening. Practice them consistently for the next few weeks until they start to feel natural, and only then add another. Small, steady changes, repeated patiently over months, build a stronger and younger mind far more reliably than any short burst of motivation ever could. If even one of these habits spoke to you today, do not simply nod and move on to the next video. Choose one. Start it tonight, before the feeling fades and life pulls your attention elsewhere. Your future mind, sharper, calmer, and more alive, is built entirely from small choices like this one, repeated quietly, day after day, until they become simply who you are. There is one more thing I want you to remember before you go. Nothing on this list is impossible, and nothing on it requires talent you don't already have. It only requires the decision to try, today, while the idea is still fresh in your mind, instead of tomorrow, when it will be easier to forget and easier to fall back into the same comfortable routine that brought you here in the first place. The people who feel sharp, curious, and alive well into their 60s and 70s are not lucky. In almost every case, they simply kept choosing small challenges over easy comfort, year after year, quietly, without anyone applauding them for it. If this video helped you, and if you want more content that grows both your mind and your English at the same time, join our community here at WisdomLoom English. We share videos like this every week, built to help you think clearly, understand English more naturally, and speak with real confidence. Hit subscribe so you never miss the next one, and leave a comment below telling me which habit you're starting first. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Let's keep growing, together, one small habit at a time.